Okay, what up ladies and gents, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully your favorite official content creator for the First Descendant, and today what I'm here to talk to you guys about is the A-TAMS, whatever, I'm just gonna call it the A-TAMS, okay, Singaporean pronunciation, the A-TAMS one-shot build. Alright, I'm here to tell you the truth about it, how it actually works, and, all that other kind of stuff, because look, I know many of you have been talking to me about this one-shot build. I know many of you have seen me use the one-shot build, but as I demonstrated on stream, it is not actually consistent no matter how much critical hit rate you have. So I'm going to show you how to build the A-TAMS for the one-shot, but I will also explain all the pitfalls, traps, and things that other people won't show you. We'll also do a demonstration at the end of the inconsistency. Alright, so just be aware of that. Now, I'm going to try and make this a speedier video because, like I said, this is not a build that I favor. Why do I not favor this build? Because it's not consistent. You will actually get far more consistency using the Last Dagger or even the Ancient Knight with Serena's boss killing build, as I have shown you guys before. Okay, so just as a way of setting this up, this is Serena's boss killing build, 38,000 hit points. You should already be familiar with that. You'll be using the crit setup for arcade tuning. You will be using here, you will probably want strike point amplification. Let's use the toxic focus rounds. I mean, it's not going to really change much because you're only going to fire one shot, but this is just the standard loadout anyway. Okay, for the A-TAMS, let me go through the stats really quickly to show you how it was done. Now, the A-TAMS has a base firearm attack of 228,000. All right, you'll be increasing this with a weapon option roll. So the main roll that you're going to need on this is firearm attack, weak point damage, critical hit rate. All right, this is what I find works best for this. Why? Because the A-TAMS base critical hit rate is 50%. Increasing this with the weapon option puts you at 55%, and the base critical hit multiplier is 1.5 times, and with a weapon option you can also boost this up quite nicely. Its weak point damage is 1.65, and a weapon option will boost this up to 1.8. All right, and basically its multi-hit chance is only let's see, where's the multi-hit chance? Multi-hit damage is only a 0.1 times multiplier. So we're not going to worry about multi-hit here. We're only going to focus on critical damage, weak point damage, which is what we just did in the arcade tuning. You don't have to worry about rounds per magazine, all that kind of stuff, because you're basically going to charge it up for one single shot. All right. Now, the unique ability of the A-TAMS is that if you charge up, you will fill up a gauge, and when you fully fill up the gauge, you will deal your firearm damage multiplied by 260%. This is actually a drastic increase, and combined with Serena's fourth skill, you can dish out a hell of a lot of damage. All right, the gauge fills up at 5% per 0.1 seconds. All right, so you actually need 2 seconds to fully charge the A-TAMS. All right, this is when its unique ability is maxed out. It will also cost you 1 MP, all right, per 0.2 seconds. So if you think about that, it's actually going to cost you per second, okay, 5 MP per second. And since you need 2 seconds to charge, that's 10 MP in total. It's not a big cost, but you should be aware of it. All right. In terms of weapon options and rolls, here's the thing. The first roll, you're going to need your toxic attack, especially if you want this to one-shot the Tormentor. For the second slot, I just maxed out my firearm critical hit damage, and then the other two don't really matter. I've got sprint speed, recoil for a little bit of quality of life, and the last slot, you don't even have to roll anything because we all know that the purple slot is useless, right? Okay, modules. Here are the modules that you're going to need for the one-shot. I would really recommend Rifling Reinforcement, Action and Reaction. This boosts up your base firearm attack. Okay, better insight, better concentration, concentration priority, boost up your critical hit damage. That's pretty standard. You can use the Toxic Enhancement and Toxic Gun Barrel. This will give you as much toxic attack as possible, and you don't need to worry about fire rate because you're only going to fire one shot. All right, and weak point expansion will give you a lot of bang for your buck. It actually puts your weak point multiplier at 4.5 times, which is absolutely fantastic, and you only need one shot anyway. Right? Edging shot will give you the best critical hit rate for this setup. In fact, with this particular setup, my critical hit rate is 84.5%. If you were to use something like Insight Focus instead, which you could do, all right, you'll end up with a critical hit rate of only 73%, which is what you don't want. You want as much critical hit as possible because you really, really, really need to hit your target. Okay? And together, all combined, Plus, with your RK tuning, you actually managed to hit a critical hit rate of 95.3%. This gives you the best bang for your buck and the best chance of actually hitting the one shot, because if you do not hit the critical, you will not get a one shot. All right, so that is how you build up the A-TAMS. This is how you're supposed to do the one shot. Once again, here are the modules. There is no variation in this. I know that there are some builds and videos out there that show you, oh, you can make do with less than that. But yeah, that's because of Serena's skill covering the damage. Let me start by showing you the principle behind this. We're going to spawn a Tormentor in here. All right, so we'll go to lab settings. Now, unlike the others, I'm not just going to show you a clip of a one shot and just go through the build pretending like it's going to help you hit it every single time. We don't do that here. We do actual testing and actual data. So like I've done on live stream, Tormentor has been spawned. Okay, so the basic principle behind this is very simple. What you are going to do is you are going to trigger Ascension. You're going to get up in the air. All right, you're going to do this. You're going to get even higher. All right, you're going to charge up your shot, aim for the weak spot, and shoot. Now, did you see that I didn't crit there? Okay, this is a perfect demonstration of what happens when you don't crit. When you don't crit, your firearm damage misses out on an entire multiplier. So even Serena's skill is not going to have the full multiplier. So all I did was 24 million damage. That's not enough to kill the Tormentor, who has, in solo mode, 97 million, roughly, right? So let's do it again. Okay, restart everything. Reset the cooldown here. Okay, again. Get up in the air. All right, aiming, full shot. Now, this one did not crit again. Do you see the problem here? If you don't crit, all you're going to do is roughly 30 million. And if your first shot doesn't crit, you lose the extra multiplier of weak point expansion. So let's do it again. All right. This is this perfect demonstration of why this is so inconsistent. Okay. Many people have just shown you a clip of, oh my God, I one-shot at a Tormentor. Yes, but when we went through it on live stream, you can get this unlucky. All right, normally you're not supposed to, but you might be thinking, wait, you've got a 95% crit rate. Ah, there we go. I hit a crit there. Do you see the difference? 25 million damage firearm, 78 million on skill, 103 million, boom, it's dead, right? So you might be thinking, wait a second, so on stream I've seen you one shot. You know, all these people claim that it works, but they don't show you this. They don't show you the inconsistency. Why is it doing so much more? Because you're missing out on a whole other multiplier. Don't forget, with Serena's skill,
I will not be afraid.
Oops, sorry. Let me go in by the module so we don't have to listen to Serena. And I'm also going to just quickly remove my cam there, so it'll be a lot easier to tell you. Okay, so if you look at Divine Surge, right? Divine Surge, what it does is that it does a firearm damage multiplied by a damage multiplier, and that damage multiplier is based on your max hit points. All right. So although the multiplier is only 0.8%, think of it this way. 0.8 multiplied by 38,000. Okay, 0.8% multiplied by 38,000. That is a multiplier of 3,000. Oh, sorry. That is a multiplier of 304%. Okay, just doing a back of the envelope calculation like that. Do you know that that's why I'm multiplying my firearm damage by a skill damage of 3 times? Okay, you can just plug that into a calculator, but that 25,000 multiplied by 3 times is going to give you 75,000. That's how you get your huge, massive multipliers. So if you don't get all the multipliers to line up, you can't one-shot. So let's go do it in the field now. You've seen the demonstration. You've seen how this works. All right. You understand the build. You understand that we can one-shot, but how often does it really happen? Let's go into Tormentor a couple of times, and we'll practice with the one-shots. Let's see how often I actually hit the one-shots. All right. We'll use a number in the top right-hand corner there. So every time I succeed, I'll put up the number. All right. So right now, we have succeeded a total of 0 times. So how many times can we one-shot this thing? Let's find out. All right. Let's do the field test, and also it'll serve as a demonstration of how I do it in the field. Now, if you want to, you can keep practicing until as soon as his thing turns blue, you can shoot him. All right. Some people have practiced to that extent. I don't care about practicing to that extent, so I'm just gonna take my time with this. I'm gonna show you how I do it the lazy way. All right. But basically, I am going to just stand here without really doing anything. Once it's about 4 seconds, I like to shing.
We will
Okay, I messed up there. I didn't hit the weak spot. And there we go. So I didn't one-shot him there. It remains at 0. All right, but that's because I missed the weak spot. It did actually crit on the first one and it crit on the second one. Okay, so if that had happened correctly, that would have been a one-shot. All right, but for the fairness of this test, you know, I also to show you how difficult it is when you're actually in the field. Sometimes your aim's going to be a little bit off. Sometimes, you know, things are going to be a little bit off. You won't actually be able to get fully consistent results. I mean, you could practice to do it, but the question is, do you really want to? I mean, what you're seeing me do here, I could do with the last dagger with way less difficulty and way more consistency. But let's go again. All right, like I said, this video will only be long because we're going to do a couple of these demonstrations, which I think is the right way to do things anyway.
Into the light.
Now you can actually charge it up while floating, and because he moves, unfortunately, you might actually miss the shot. There we go. There's a one-shot right there. All right. So unfortunately, I missed the shot on that one, but it was still a one-shot. So there we go. Again. You have to hope. Now, of course, the balance of probabilities is that 95% crit rate, even after being reduced by the enemy's critical hit rate, and for the critical hit rate resistance. And for those of you that know this, every enemy Colossi has a critical hit resistance that we do not know about. All right, you can test it yourself if you want to, but best bet is with Viessa. You try to use her skill with 100% crit rate, you're still not going to crit every single time. All right, so do be aware. In fact, you can also test it with Ines, who can reach a 100% crit rate, but hers is a bit harder to test because she spams skills. So okay. Didn't crit there, so didn't even do much damage. Didn't really hit a weak spot. Oop, missed. You gotta practice this technique, but yep. Okay, I hit that, but didn't crit. Nope, hit a weak spot, but no crit. Hit a weak spot, but no crit. Missed completely. I crit there, but my ability has sort of gone off by now. So this will be the issue. This will be what happens. If you miss too many shots or you don't hit, then this is the reality of it. I kind of want to show you the reality because at the end of the day, I mean, it's up to your personal skill. All right, even I miss all the time. I can't just consistently perform this and do it well, so that's reality. And if you don't shoot him, then you're gonna end up taking like a minute to do this. All right, so the A-TAMS, as good as it is, you're realistically just relying on Serena's ability. All right, so we've had one shot, done a couple of these. In fact, I should probably change this to say 1 of 3. So this is how many one-shots we've succeeded at, 1 out of 3. Is personal skill a factor? Absolutely. You can practice until you can get it right, but even then, you're still at the mercy of random factors like crit. So once again, let's try. Now, some people have said that there's other techniques, like you can move sort of closer to this side, try to aim for the right shoulder, left shoulder, whichever one. Like, you can apply whichever techniques you feel work best for you. All right. Okay, I crit, but I didn't hit the right spot, so there we go. I can't really count that as a one-shot because I didn't hit the weak spot on that one, so yeah. So that's 1 out of 4. As you can see, it's not really that easy to do. Okay, it's a trick shot. Again, I've done it several times on stream. I could probably show you guys a clip of me doing it, but this is the reality of the situation. All right. Okay, there we go. That's a one-shot. Right there. Sometimes it's better to just wait for the shot, but that's about it. So 2 out of 5. not a bad ratio. If you practice, you could have probably made that 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5. Again, the biggest factor would just be whether or not you hit your crit. If you hit your crit, no problem. You don't hit your crit, then it doesn't matter how practiced you are at sniping. You could be right on point with the weak point. You're still not going to do enough damage. All right. So just be aware of that. Most of the damage is coming from Serena's 4th skill. All right. As I showed you in the lab. And not a lot of the damage comes from the A-TAMS. So A-TAMS at most is going to deal 25 million. So although you'll be able to one-shot other bosses with this without even really relying too much on Serena's skill, whether you hit the crit or not, other bosses will be one-shot. The Tormentor will not. So just be aware of that. And this is with a Tormentor exclusive build, so do be aware. All right, I hope this video has helped you guys. And for those of you that still want to build up the A-TAMS, you still want to use it, then by all means, go ahead and use it. You know, there's no issue or problem with that. But just be aware of what you're getting into. All right. Thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know if you enjoy the A-TAMS. And this is March's top supporter list. Top tipper is CG Mayhem. Top tipper list includes Jesse A. Davis. Top super chatter is Lawbreaker. Top super chatter list includes George Tishon, Sir Tommy, Jonathan Terry, D. Russ, Matthias M, Jody Wilkins. Top channel membership gifter is Arcane Silva 300. Top channel membership gifter list includes Jody Wilkins, Chris Campbell, Matthias M, and D. Russ. Thank you guys so much for all the support you guys have given me. And I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Don't do anything weird while I'm gone. Enjoy the A-TAMS if you like. If you prefer consistency, I would rather choose another weapon, but there you go. Okay? Catch you later.